widespread is Satanism in North America? Well, it's serious enough for hospitals like this one, Columbine Psychiatric Center, right here in Denver, Colorado, to have entire programs dedicated to the treatment of satanic behavior. In fact, there are also centers in Houston, in Chicago, and out in California. This center right here has an adult program. In fact, the average age is 28 years old. It's full, and they got a waiting list. I talked to Chuck Webb, an administrator at the program. He said that the majority of their patients began their destructive descent into Satanism in their teenage years. In fact, they're getting hundreds of calls to begin an adolescent program. I want you to know something. The world is taking Satanism very, very seriously. And I believe it's about time that the church did the same.
We've had some in our practice here, definitely, that were used in a ritual, in a ritual worship of Satan. And we've interviewed others that have come to us to tell us about their experiences.
We're finding Satanism to be a very serious problem in our youth today. Not only does it create problems in terms of the spiritual and emotional impact on our teenagers, but also there's a dramatic increase in crime in our culture associated with Satanism.
Crime. Although the official Church of Satan denies criminal involvement, law enforcement agencies across America are forming special task forces to investigate ritualistic crimes. Detective Lee Orr served on such a task force.
A young 12-year-old boy killed himself with a shotgun, and it really literally blew his head off, and it was really a sorry situation. And in the investigation were brought up some things about the occult. And at that time, I had not really been, that exposed. I'm sure over the years, I had seen things that I didn't relate and didn't understand.
This individual, whose name I can't really relay to you right now because it is still under investigation, is evidently involved in the occult. And information that we received is that he has several young male juveniles that he gets into his home, gives them drugs, evidently gets them addicted, hooked on the drugs, and then therefore gets them into his occult. His wife or ex-wife had cooked their young child, their young baby, in the oven and killed it. We're not sure if this was a result of the satanic activity, but it would appear that way.
I was called to the scene of a graveyard desecration, and at that scene I experienced and witnessed evidence that to me clearly suggested that people who entered that graveyard entered it for motives other than anything that I could explain in my policeman mind. That the motivation was obviously spiritual and occultic.
Experts say there are as many as 50 to 60,000 human sacrifices a year, a result of an estimated 100,000 self-styled Satanists in this country. In 1988, Los Angeles had 64 preschools with reported satanic activity. Read about it in the newspapers. It's on the streets. But what is the religion of Satanism, and why does it prey on the young?
The fact is the majority of Satanists have nothing to do with any kind of an organized institution. There are a number of levels of Satanism, all the way from kids who are just dabbling around in it, to those who develop their own self-styled ceremonies, to the institutional Satanists, to those who have been practicing generational Satanism going back for many centuries.
This is the Satanic Bible, which was written by Anton LaVey back in, I believe he wrote it in 1973. He started the Church of Satan in California in 1966. That was the same year that Time magazine had on the front page of their magazine that God is dead. And they formed a church, he did, Anton LaVey, which had some celebrities in it, mainline celebrities, Jane Mansfield, Marilyn Monroe, Sammy Davis Jr. This is all documented. I'm not making this up.
We have a nation filled with dysfunctional kids whose life experience is hate and rejection. You talk to them about love, esteem, and personal values, and they find great difficulty relating to that because that's not been their life experience. What Satanism does is to codify this bitterness and inner rage that they have. It gives them an excuse to be angry, an excuse to get revenge. It gives them an institutional religious philosophy that says it's okay to be bad. In fact, being bad is what you should be.
There might be parents that are watching this program right now and saying, man, I don't want my kid to get involved in Satanism. How do Satanists recruit young people into Satanism, and what can we do to try to stop it?
Well, first of all, the recruiting field of Satanism is only as fertile as the dysfunctionalism of a child who is open to it. And so it starts back in the home where a child is given the right type of love and affirmation, the right type of spiritual values, so that he's never even going to be a potential recruit. Now, if that is not the case, and the parents, if they have a dysfunctional family, from either a psychological or spiritual standpoint or both, have got to be honest and admit that, and that their child is a potential recruit, then they have to be extra cautious about the types of things that would suck a kid into this. And they are fairly obvious. The music that he listens to, the friends that he keeps, the literature that he reads. Not any one of these things, or even a combination, necessarily means the kid is involved in Satanism. But if there is an obsession with these types of things, some indication that his life is totally absorbed around black metal music, or absorbed around reading occult literature or seeing horror films, then the parents had best start asking some very serious questions.
After I had knelt on an altar of Satan, covered in blood, and completely dedicated my life to Satan, after I had killed people, after I had done all these things, Jesus still loved me. That was awesome. That was incredible. And I remember I knelt down on the floor and I said, Lord, here I am again. If you'll take me back, I'll serve you.